While I was visiting some friends up in Michigan, one of my buddies from college said, "Chris, your hair is not nearly as much pepper as it used to be. It's mostly salt." I was like, man, that's not very nice. But he also mentioned, dude, you've packed on a few pounds. And this is very true. While I have no excuse for why I've put on a little extra weight recently, I can tell you I've been trying to lose weight on my motorcycle. So let me share with you some ideas on how you can make your motorcycle a little bit lighter, a little more spry.
Moto Photo Adventures is on the road.
Probably the first thing that I would do, and what I always do for all of my motorcycles, is swap out the battery. The batteries on a lot of motorcycles, especially the older ones, are NiCad batteries, and they're very heavy. So if you switch that out for a lithium-ion battery, you'll lose a ton of weight. Save you several pounds, and it's right here in the core of the motorcycle, so you really kind of start to feel that weight savings already. The other benefit to using a lithium-ion battery is it'll last you longer. So instead of a typical lifespan of 5 years, it'll go a good 10 years. So there's just a lot of advantages to using a lithium-ion battery. I'm lucky in that some modern motorcycles, like my Aprilia Touareg 660, automatically includes a lithium-ion battery, so I was able to skip that step for this bike. But it's a #1 recommended tip for you if you want to lose some weight on yours. Number 2 on my recommended list for how to lose some weight on your motorcycle is swapping out your exhaust. I just recently did that. You might have seen our video recently where I had my old original OEM exhaust replaced. I happen to go with the Dominator. It's the HP7 exhaust. I absolutely love it. You're going to love the sound of this thing. But more importantly, I went with the full system. Now you can just replace the slip-on. It'll still save you some weight. But if you replace the entire system all the way up to the headers like I did, you get even more savings. And in my case, I also was able to lose the catalytic converter. So by doing a decat on the Aprilia Touareg 660, it helped to reduce all of the extra weight, and it also helps to eliminate some of that heat coming off the front of the bike. That is a #1 complaint that a lot of people have about the Touareg 660, is how much heat comes off the front right corner of that motorcycle. And so by taking out the catalytic converter, I was able to reduce some of that weight, which has been super nice. But the best part, man, it's the grunt, the low end sound. Let me let you guys hear this a little bit. The sound of an aftermarket exhaust just cannot be beat. Number 3 on my list for the Touareg 660 is not necessarily something I would have done on every motorcycle, but while I was having the exhaust done and having some other work done on the motorcycle, and they had the fairings off and they had the engine apart, I also had them remove the evap canister. So a lot of people feel this is a superfluous product in the Touareg 660. It only saves a couple of pounds, but I figured while they're in there, might as well have it done. So that's number 3 on my list. Moving on to number 4 on my list for saving weight on your motorcycle, and this is the real reason why I had my bike in to be serviced anyway. I had hit a tree. You know, it happens. Off-roading is a lot of fun, but sometimes things get in your way. My Outback Motortech crash bars did get dented, and so I did want to get those replaced. And of course the muffler had been dented, so I wanted to get that replaced. I went ahead and had the dealership do it, even though I originally mounted the Outback Motortech bars myself. If you want to check out one of our former videos, my bike was purchased used, and it originally came with some T-Rex racing bars and skid plate. So the engine protection was a little bit overkill for this bike. You'll see I noted in that video how much heavier and bulkier all of the engine protection from T-Rex was. So we went with a lighter weight, a little more minimalistic, but still excellent protection from the Outback Motortech people. And I am absolutely 100% pleased with this. It's a great product, and it doesn't detract from the looks of the bike. It's not completely covering the bike like the T-Rex did. So I was super happy with that, and I went with the replacement of the exact same product, of course. So that's another way that you can very carefully save some money, is be prudent in the choice of what engine protection you use on your motorcycle. Had I the ability to do it all over again, I would also look very carefully at the AXP or Moose Racing product for the skid plate. It's made out of a plastic material that's even 30 to 40% lighter than the aluminum that most skid plates are. So that would be another way that you could save some weight, is looking into their product. But I've been super pleased with the Outback Motortech product and their customer service. Mark at Outback Motortech is a huge sponsor of the channel, and we appreciate that very, very much. And the last one on my list for saving weight on your motorcycle is, of course, being a little bit careful about which choices you make on the luggage you're going to use. I already had the GV Outback Trekker motorcycle luggage from my old motorcycle, and so of course it was a natural move for me to get the luggage rack and whatever I needed to, the accessories that were needed in order to fit this to my motorcycle. And it works great if I'm just doing a road trip and I want some extra protection in the city environments. Take a look at our Covered Bridges tour of the historic covered bridges in Georgia. That was a street ride that we did, and I used these bags for that. However, for off-roading, you can save a ton of weight by going to a soft-sided setup. Soft bags are much lighter and more malleable, I would say, than using one of these off-road. If you get stuck off-road in some deep ruts and you end up going down, you can trap your ankle underneath hard luggage. It's a big security risk, or a big issue in terms of your protection. So I do highly recommend using soft luggage for off-road motorcycling. And we do have a fantastic video explaining the benefits of losing some weight, especially on the back of your motorcycle. We do have some experience with the Giant Loop Great Basin, and I absolutely love this product. Super lightweight, doesn't even require any luggage racks if you have a strapping system that works for your particular motorcycle. So just by swapping out to this bag, and it carries almost as much as the two GV bags do, but I can save 30 pounds just in the luggage alone. So that's a great way to save some weight. And you can check out a review video on our channel on how I pack and use my Great Basin bag for adventure travel. I mean, I can barely lift that up. That's 16 pounds just for the aluminum box. And there's two of them, and that doesn't even take into account the racks that they attach to. So you can add up all this stuff if you want, but my calculations, it comes to about 55 pounds if you take into consideration everything that I've replaced on this motorcycle. So that's got a lot of weight savings. It doesn't quite, a few more of these and I might cut a few pounds off myself. However, saving the weight on your motorcycle makes it feel so much more fun. On the off-road sections, I get to rip it and have a blast, and it's just so much lighter and so much more nimble than it used to be with all the other accessories that were on it. So I hope that helps you guys, gives you some ideas on how you can lose some weight on your motorcycle. If you have any tips that I haven't thought of, some ways that I could lose weight on mine, or some things that have worked for you, please leave them in the comments. I always read every comment. So I would love to hear from you and have some tips from you guys. And I hope this helped you. Give us a like, subscribe to the channel, share the video with all your friends and family, and I will see you in the next episode.